Welcome to Top 10 Sports Media. Hey there, sports fans. In this video, we're taking a look at the most renowned virtual tennis games that ever existed. The sport of tennis served as the inspiration for some of the very first video games ever developed, and the tradition lives on to this day in the form of a plethora of fascinating and intriguing tennis video games that are still being launched. We're going to showcase some of the greatest ones that have ever been produced, so sit back and check this out. Video games provide you the opportunity to live out your fantasies of being a hero and rescuing the globe, the galaxy, or cosmos in your own unique manner. Games like this may not only introduce you to fantastic new worlds, but give you the impression that your aspirations of being a sports great are on the verge of becoming a reality. Tennis video games are among the most well-known and longest-lasting of all subgenres found in the world of video games. A game of tennis for two. It just so happens that tennis was the subject of one of our first known video games. William Higginbotham, the head of the Brookhaven National Laboratory, was thinking of fun ways to demonstrate to attendees of the institution's annual Visitors' Day that the scientific work being done at the laboratory had some bearing on their lives when he came up with the idea of designing a game that was controlled by a computer. His interactive distraction evolved into a game called Tennis for Two, which was being played on an oscilloscope. Two people could play a simplified version of tennis using the gadget by turning knobs and pressing buttons located on the front panel. Matchpoint 1984 ZX Spectrum. By the time of the Home Micro, ambitious programmers were striving to produce sports in a reasonably realistic way, given the constraints of the computers, but most of the tennis games were terrible. Matchpoint went against the grain by providing a reasonably accurate depiction of a court and a level of gameplay that was shockingly quick. Even though it had only a single swing racket control, it did allow you to modify the nature of your strokes based on when you struck the ball, and you could offer more force by hitting it while going forwards. However, it had a single control on the swing of the racket. You might argue that it was a blockbuster in the 8-bit world, if you were interested in jokes about trash. Super Tennis, 1991 SNES. We are going to move forward a little bit since most of the other retro-style tennis games were either terrible, passing shot, strange, international 3D tennis, or were loaded, updated versions of Matchpoint with more appealing visuals. It might be said that Super Tennis for the Super Nintendo originally resembled the last of those games. Still, as the game progressed, it became abundantly evident that if Nintendo hadn't developed this game, one might be excused for mistaking it for an early version of virtual tennis. You may choose from a wide variety of shots, arcade-style rallies, a little bit of talking, and even players urgently diving to making returns. A word of caution though, Super Tennis does have a disheartening take-no-prisoners attitude to the challenge, unless we're simply growing old and losing our tennis gaming talents, or whether it's just correctly replicating what normally occurs when an English player steps into a court. The SNES Classic Mini does not have this game, much to our regret. Shame. Outlaw Tennis. The Outlaw series was a creation of the 2000s and was an effort to make sports games more gritty and realistic. The Outlaws games took old institutions like golf and volleyball and chose to add strippers, convicts, and other one-note characters who could garner a smile for the first time you saw them. Despite the state of the sport, this was done in violation of the established traditions of the sport. Even still, by the 10th go-through, it may begin to irritate you. The Outlaw cast of characters took on the court, carrying their absurd antics with them. So it was inevitable that tennis would not be exempt from this trend. Outlaw Tennis is about as simple as a tennis game, which is why it barely manages to make our list. However, the Outlaw series does bring the gimmick of initiating an actual battle anytime you choose. This helps the game earn a spot on this list. You and your opponent may get into a fight while you are playing the game, and the victor would get a boost before the following point. Although it did not set any new standards for the tennis genre, it was still a good time overall. Mario Tennis Power Tour. Anyone ready to give the portable game Mario Tennis Power Tour a go had a terrific experience playing the game, despite the fact that the Game Boy Advance is probably not the first system that comes to people's minds when they think the most excellent locations to play athletic games. The gameplay was oriented towards collecting power shots, much like Mario Power Tennis for the GameCube, more on that later, which was released in 2005. Mario Power Tennis for the GameCube was a very similar gameplay style to this game. In addition, there are power shots that may be used offensively as well as defensively, which adds a healthy dose of variation and strategy to the overall gaming experience. Hotshots Tennis. Get a Grip. A spin-off of the famous Everybody's Golf and Hotshots golf series comes in the form of Hotshots Tennis, Get a Grip, which is also known as Everybody's Tennis Portable. The link between the two series is obvious even from the game's name. The game stays true to the Hotshots series' custom of neglecting reality in favor of providing exaggerated forms of fun, as is the case here. A disappointing version of Hotshots Tennis was first launched for the PlayStation 2 in 2006. However, its sequel, Hotshots Tennis Get a Grip, received an outstanding score of 80 on Metacritic, which is 10 points better than that score. First-Person Tennis, the Real Tennis Simulator. First-Person Tennis, the Real Tennis Simulator, is a virtual reality game available on Steam that aims to simulate what it would be like to win Wimbledon. Because virtual reality is the only technology that will come close to accurately simulating the experience of playing real sports in video games, we feel obligated to mention this game. Although you won't be physically there at Wimbledon, you'll be huffing and puffing in the comfort of your own home while wearing a virtual reality headset that's reeking of perspiration. The triumph will nonetheless have a satisfying flavor. For those concerned that they need to run up and down the room while wearing a headset, First-Person Tennis offers 3 distinct ways to move in virtual reality to adapt to the limited amount of playing area. There are also online matches and spectator modes, in addition to regular tournaments for players interested in competing with other players in addition to the game's artificial intelligence. So that concludes the most renowned virtual tennis games that ever existed video. Which of these tennis games have you played? Did you enjoy it? Do you know any other tennis virtual game not mentioned in this video? If you have further questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Are you looking for more sports-related videos? Of course, you don't want to miss our excellent and exciting videos. And be sure to check out our other videos for more great content like this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That's it for today. Until next time.